Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Are your abs too strong? In this video, we're going to answer the question, can your abs be too strong? And if so, why should you care? Let's dive in now. Why should you care if your abs are too strong? Or how can you even tell if a person has too strong of abdominals? Okay, I know everybody wants the six pack, like, oh, if I could only get that six pack, life would be made, right? No, there's plenty of people out there who have really strong abdominals and they have back pain, they got hip pain, they got shoulder pain. In fact, those three things are one of the major precursors towards too strong of abdominals, including pelvic pain as well. How would you know if abdominals are actually too strong? One of the ways that you can tell, and it's a dead giveaway, is for a person that does like, a lot of crunches, weighted sit-ups, hanging leg raises, bicycles, planks, all these abdominal exercises, right? One of the giveaways for too strong of abdominals, and by abdominals, I really mean the rectus abdominis, the six-pack abs, is that they're gonna be typically rounded over. They're so stiff here that it pulls the rib cage down and you wind up with poor posture. And that poor posture can actually give you some back pain. Now, just because you have this posture, does that mean your abdominals are too stiff? Not necessarily. So there's other things that we have to check for to make sure that your abdominals are not too stiff, right? If they are too stiff, it will pull you down and then you're gonna have to fight to bring yourself back up. Ideally, we want a nice neutral posture whereby we generally have the 3 points of contact on the head, mid-back, and the sacrum area here, where you don't have to produce any effort to get there. If you have to produce effort to get there, then, my friend, you got some work to do. And that's the work we're talking about. But we got to assess whether the abdominals are too stiff. So one of the first ways that we can tell, besides here, which again, by itself is not necessarily a great test, is going to be the inhalation test here, right? For this one, wrap this around. I have a Myo tape, very cheap. And I'm gonna exhale fully. I'm gonna test myself right now, actually. Okay, 34. Woo! 37 and 3 or 4/16. All right. What we're looking for is a 3-inch expansion, or the ability for your rib cage to expand. When your abdominals are overly stiff, they're going to ensure that you cannot actually fully expand. And that is a major, major issue, because oftentimes for these people that have abdominals that are too strong and stiff, it's that they're not actually fully exhaling well, and then they can't actually fully inhale very well, all right? They're already they're already kind of exhaled, but without a large enough inhale, we're not going to get the full exhale then that we need. We do need both. So for individuals where respiratory mechanics or basically breathing, basically you're an athlete, right, who maybe is not a power lifter, even then, even still, regardless, anything where there's cardiovascular work to do, running, sprinting, those kinds of things, skating, whatever, you need to be able to expand your torso and be able to get in a full inhalation of your breath. I know exhalation is the craze, like you gotta exhale, keep the ribs down. It's gone a little far. It's like I know no one talks about the inhalation now, and I'm telling you, every time I measure, there's only two people that come to mind, two clients that come to mind recently, where they have been able to get over that 3-inch marker to be able to inhale fully. And I'm telling you, if you're not there, you need to be able to expand, and that means expanding the torso to ensure we don't have too stiff abdominals. Now, the other test we're going to look at is what's called the infrasternal angle. So if you feel here, okay, if you're here, what we're looking at, you can see here, I have about a 45-degree angle there, okay? And the way that we can tell if a person has stiff or too stiff abdominals is generally the infrasternal angle will be about there or especially lower. The more lower it is, the more dangerous it is that this rectus abdominis is definitely stiff. But then we have to compare that with their overhead arm movement. So when we go overhead, does your rib cage come up? And if it does, and we're seeing a pretty good increase, we're looking probably at least for about 15 to 30 degrees, then we know that the rectus abdominis is not too stiff, all right? So again, we measure that if we're about here and we go overhead, we can measure that one here, and we need to see a fairly good increase. So at least there to there. If we're here, we want to be able to at least pick up generally anywhere from like 15 to 30 degrees. You'll see individuals that are like this. They bring their arms overhead and literally their rib cage is still like this. You see just a hair of an increase. And that is just way too stiff, and that's going to promote a lumbar flexion problem, typically that produces that back pain with rounding, okay? And oftentimes by just having their arms be overhead, doing some hangs, doing some stretches with your arms overhead, doing some deep inhalations in this position, that will allow the rib cage to expand up. Problems happen when things get too locked up in place, all right? So can you have too strong of abdominals? Absolutely. Why should you care? Well, because you look worse and you can get some back pain, which can also actually contribute to hip pain, shoulder pain because you're rounded so over, and even pelvic pain because a lot of the nerves that go through the abdominals go into the pelvis, and so when you have too stiff of abdominals, it can influence those nerves and cause pelvic pain. Anybody who's got pelvic pain can tell you that when they squeeze those abdominals a lot, that can really flare things up. So, do you have too strong of abdominals? If so, do you have any effects from that you don't like? So if you have any other questions on the video, I'm happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.